Good morning, and welcome to the show, Teens Around the World. My name is Rushi, and I'll be your host for today. This week, we'll be discussing teenagers from Great Britain. Samantha is a teenager from London, England. Some of her hobbies are playing field hockey and texting her mates. Elizabeth is from Leeds, England. She enjoys watching the tube. Let's welcome Samantha and Elizabeth to our show. Good morning, girls. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Tell us a little bit about your life.
I'm 16 and in year 11. I moved to Britain when I was 12 years old, so I don't have much of an accent. My hobbies include playing field hockey and listening to music.
I'm Elizabeth, and I'm 17 and in year 12. I like to watch the In-Betweeners and Skins. I liked also traveling to my relatives' houses in Scotland and Austria on the weekends. It's really quite fun.
Scotland, Austria, that sounds amazing. I heard you guys recently visited the States, is that right?
That's correct.
What did you think of it?
Wow, I found there are so many differences between US and British culture. Even though we listen to the same music and partake in similar activities and spend way too much time on our mobiles, American music is brilliant.
Samantha's right. In the UK, there's so much more violence among teens. Just in the past week, there were 6 brawls at my school. British teens also get pissed more, or I guess, as you Americans say, drunk. But that's because there, it's legal for us to drink. Also, we eat Cadbury chocolate much more frequently than Hershey. To me, Hershey chocolate just tastes like rotten milk. Americans also tend to live such fast-paced lives, I've noticed. In Britain, we like to take our time with things, but Americans are so rushed. That's one of the biggest differences between us.
Wow, Elizabeth, you're right. Just the other day, my colleagues and I went out for lunch, and we were in and out of the restaurant half an hour. That's so odd. What else?
Well, I also noticed that Americans are more patriotic than Brits. My cousin, she lives in California. She told me that every day American students have to say a pledge of allegiance to an American flag. We don't have anything like that here. I mean, we are patriotic about our country, but not as much as Americans.
You make a good point, Elizabeth. After all, there is a song called Proud of Being American. You know, I was thinking about visiting the UK this year. What do you think I should do there?
You really ought to visit England in February. We have this holiday called Shrove Tuesday. There's so many different funny activities you can do in Britain, a lot of them involving pancakes, for example. Last year, a friend and I engaged in pancake races, where we have to run to the finish line while flipping a pancake in the frying pan. Totally wonky, but a good time.
Sounds like a lot of fun. What's driving like in the UK? I know that driving, getting licensed is a big part of American teenage culture.
Well, a lot of people in Britain drive around on motorcycles. I really wanted one, but my mum won't let me have one. Brits also drive on the left side of the road, and we have our steering wheels on the right, which is opposite like in the States. Also, here, gas is really quite expensive, and so I don't really drive much. I like to take the tube. That's what we call this underground tram. And in Britain, gas is so expensive, it's 95 pence per litre.
Wow, gas is really expensive lately. Now, Samantha, since you've been to both schools in America and England, what's it like in England?
In Britain, we have school uniforms, which is just bollocks. Another thing is that we go to school for 195 days, while Americans go for 180 days. Plus, we don't have pep rallies like other American high schools do.
Wow, 195 days? That's crazy. Now tell me, what do you girls do for fun when you're not in school?
Well, we don't get to do a lot of outside activities where I live. There's not much snow like in the northeast, so we can't go skiing, and there's not many beaches like in the west coast, which makes it a little bit sad. But I like to hang out with my mates a lot. We like to play football or cricket, or even just go shopping. We also like going to the cinema quite frequently.
Are there any problems that teenagers face?
Definitely. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of violence among students.
And the weather is bloody awful. But on a more serious note, there's a lot of drug abuse. Some of the heaviest drinkers in Europe are in Britain.
Wow, are there any aspects of American culture you wish you could have in England?
No school uniforms. That's a big one. I hate uniforms. I also wish we had pep rallies in American football because American TV shows make them seem so much fun.
You know another thing I would really want in Britain? This thing, I went last year in March and they had this tournament in the States called March Madness, which was some basketball tournament. In Britain, there isn't much emphasis on university sports, which is really sad because March Madness seemed quite interesting.
Oh yeah, March Madness is great. It's so much fun. I'm rooting for Duke University this year and hopefully they'll do well. Well, that seems about all the time we have for today. Thanks, Sam and Elizabeth, for joining us and teaching us a little bit more about your culture.